Hey, Mackenzie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Rita?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
So,
Um, Before we get started, I want to ask
oh,
you a
one of
quick
those again, huh?
question. One of those again. What is your favorite body part?
My favorite body part. Well, just like so many of our readers and listeners and viewers and fans, I struggle with body image the same as the next girl. I always have, but it's a process that I'm working through. So I think that right now at this time in my life, my favorite body part is or are my legs. My legs they're strong. I think they're nice. They
They
might be
are
covered
nice.
with scars, but I played outside a lot as a kid. I played sports, so but they're nice and they're strong, and I can move freely without pain. And my strong legs allow me to jog, which is my favorite type of exercise. So it's important for me that my legs work and function, and they do, and I'm so thankful for that. And so right now, my favorite body part, the part I'm the most thankful for, are my legs. So.
Cool. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, sure. You're welcome. So tell me, how was your week? What'd you have going on this week?
I actually had a pretty challenging week. So not really the full week, just one day. So I had a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I got weighed for the first time in 3 years. So I intentionally have not weighed myself in the last 3 years because in the past, when I would weigh myself and I would see a number that I didn't like, I would kind of go down this deep, deep dive of not so great things where I would restrict calories and I would do all sorts of stuff until the number on the scale met what I ideally thought it needed to look like. So when I went to the doctors and I got weighed and I saw that I gained weight, which I was already fearful of. I'd been thinking about it for the last 24 hours. I was like, oh my gosh, all of my worst fears are going to come true tomorrow. And then they did. Funny how I'm like I can tell the future. It's pretty impressive. So I was very upset probably for the majority of the day. I cried off and on. And I felt really bad for myself, and I bashed myself, and I thought all these things about how could I let myself do this, or like I wonder how long this has been going on, or like what could I have done to not have gained weight. But honestly, I don't even know what I've weighed in the last 3 years. So like maybe I've been at this overall this weight for the last 3 years. I have no idea. So anyway, that being said, I felt really bad for myself on Thursday. And I think it was a great lesson because it is sometimes hard for us to, allow ourselves to kind of just feel bad for ourselves. But then also there's an important part where we need to just move on. So I felt really bad for myself. And then there was a point in the day where I was like, okay, I've grieved and I have felt my feelings and I have felt all the things, and I now need to move on. And whether that means that I do want to lose weight or I don't want to lose weight, it doesn't matter, because right now all I need to know is I need to be happy with the body I'm in. So I don't have any intention of losing weight. I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I just didn't like seeing the number that it showed. However, it is what it is. But that being said, I think a lot of women, we just tend to put a lot of stress and pressure on that number on the scale. And we tell ourselves that we're not worth as much, or we aren't going to get that promotion, or we aren't going to, I
Be
don't know.
loved.
Yes,
Loved.
exactly. We aren't
Yeah.
going to be loved. We're not going to be how we could be if we don't fit that number on the scale. And I think it's not a realistic expectation for us. And I think we're raising us all to super high standards that aren't necessary. It does not change your value as a human being because you've gained 5 pounds. It does not change your value if you've lost 5 pounds. You're still the person that you are. And so my whole thing is, no matter what you weigh, if you are the best person you can be today, then be it. So I think it's really important for us to be in the body we're in now, regardless of where we want to be in a year or a month or 2 hours from now. But we need to always be doing our best, and we need to always be present in our body in order to change it. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with that one. That's really potent message. So thank you for sharing. I know it's a very personal story. It's a very touchy subject, and I appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable in front of so many people. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, well, one thing that I really love was that you were able to be compassionate and kind to yourself. So many of us, myself included, we get really down on ourselves and we say, oh my gosh, and I gained that weight, and we're horrible people for it, and we're failures at being human, and we hate ourselves, and we either lean towards weighing ourselves more constantly, waiting for every ounce to either gain or to lose depending which direction we're going, or we can completely stay away from the scale, but the negative self-talk keeps occurring. And it's easy for me to say to you, don't be so sad, it's just a number, you look amazing, you feel good in your body, that's the most important thing. But how I wouldn't be able to apply that same sort of compassion to myself. And so I
Hmm.
love that you were able to do that. I think that's such an important step in all aspects of life, not just when it comes to weight, is to remember that I can have my moment being down, but whatever words I would say to my best friend, I need to say those words to myself. I need to be kind and
Absolutely.
compassionate to myself. And it makes all the difference, I believe. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit that on the head with saying how how we talk to ourselves and our inner dialogue with ourselves is completely different from how I would talk to my best friend or my mother or my sibling. So
right.
I think we all need to give ourselves a little bit of grace, because we wouldn't be friends with, like, I wouldn't be friends with me if I talked to me like that, right?
Yes.
So, like, if I had a best friend who I talked to how I talk to myself, we wouldn't be friends.
Right.
So we would need to remember that we are always with. I'm never leaving me, because I'm all I got. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, I'm all I got. So I need to make sure that I'm being friends with myself first before anything. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, this came at such an integral time because we had talked about moving forward into myths and toxic beliefs that people believe about weight loss, things that the diet and fitness industries have shoveled into our mouths for decades that we believe just to be the norm, and how as food heals and in eating psychology, our goal is to bust these myths. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. This was a great way to segue into that. So thank you for sharing. And stay tuned, everybody, because we will be covering 3 toxic beliefs in the next 3 weeks. 3 myths that you have
Woo!
about weight loss that you don't want to miss these, because they're what you're hearing everywhere. And we're going to tell you exactly why you shouldn't believe them. Stay tuned.
Yes.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you for
Bye,
watching.
everyone.
See you.